Okay, well, thank you everybody for joining today. We'll continue letting people in. I'm Brenda Gurung. My pronouns are she, hers. I'm the National Director of Resident Experience for Anthology Senior Living. And actually, let me unshare my screen because I made a note of Quintin and Jasmine's bios that I want to make sure to share personally. So, we are super excited to be here with you all. I think I recognize some of your names from previous sessions, but this is a quarterly webinar that we host for any and all anthology families or team members or friends. We host it on different topics, and if you ever want to see previous sessions, we did some on dementia and the holidays or communication tips and other stuff. Those are always on our YouTube channel, and we're recording this session, and that will eventually be on our channel as well. But I'm super excited we are all here together. A special thank you to Quintin and Jasmine, who are presenting today. So Jasmine Martin is an LPN. She is one of our directors of memory care, and she is at Anthology of Mason outside of Cincinnati. Jasmine serves our memory care neighborhood. She's been a part of the neighborhood for 3 consecutive years. Jasmine, we couldn't do it without you. 2 of those years were as a lead floor nurse in our memory care community, and she was promoted last year to the director. Jasmine says, what I love most is making our neighborhood smile. That is my key signature. A smile goes a long way. I enjoy getting to know everyone that enters our neighborhood, and most importantly, making sure our residents have a happy and healthy experience here. That's beautiful, Jasmine.
Thank you.
Thank you. And then we have Quintin Schneider is, I like it. Quintin gave, and Quintin, I'm just gonna, you gave a short bio. I'm also going to include some other stuff that you'd shared with me before. Quintin describes himself as an engaged memory care director, continuously seeking to make a difference in our residents' lives. And that's definitely how I see you as well, Quintin. Quintin joined Anthology as a care manager, and that was in Kansas City in our Burlington Creek community. He advanced internally while obtaining his bachelor's, and he became our director of memory care at Anthology of Denton, which is in Dallas. Gosh, Quintin, it feels like years ago, but I think it was just at the beginning of the year. Is that right?
Yes.
Awesome. He continues to grow and develop his understanding of dementia and Alzheimer's while applying our one-of-a-kind anthology philosophy. So thank you both so much for being willing to share with our families today. Awesome.
Glad to be here.
Yeah.
Awesome. Good. So let me share our deck again. So that's us. Okay. So today's topic is on therapeutic interventions. And when I sent out the reminder to everybody who's registered, I thought, oh, we use that term all of the time at Anthology, but maybe that's not even an accessible term. So therapeutic intervention is different specific methods where to help you connect with your person. It might be through an engagement. It might be during a visit. It might be when they're upset or demonstrating a behavioral expression. Or like Quintin and Jasmine and I have spoken about previously is as they are further along in their journey, whether that's their cognitive impairment journey, their Parkinson's journey, their whatever journey. And so we're going to talk through some specific methods today that are designed to help you connect with your person. Maybe it's in a different way than you normally do. Maybe it's different from how you used to do. And maybe you're feeling like, oh, I know how I used to visit my aunt. We had a whole routine and we were in sync together, and now things have just changed and it's not as comfortable. So we want to share with you some specific interventions on how to do that. And just to make a plug for any of you, a family or family of choice, we're always looking for volunteers. So Quintin and Jasmine are probably going to mention some examples of families or families of choice who volunteer. And if there's something that you get excited about, like definitely talk with your local anthology team member and ask if maybe that's something you can do with a group. We want you to feel as a part of our community as we do and as all of our residents and families. So we're going to talk today about 3 interventions in particular. Jasmine's going to start us off with laughter therapy. Probably a few of you are like, oh, but we're gonna get to practice together, and it's gonna release some of those stressors and endorphins. Quintin's going to talk about horticulture engagement. I'm going to talk about the validation method, and then we listed off a ton of other ones that we couldn't pick just 3. We just kept adding and adding to the list. So we're going to share some other ideas as well. We'll keep an eye on the chat. So if there are things that catch your eye or aren't quite clear, or you have a question about, by all means, put it in the chat. And if you haven't attended one of these webinars before, I think I mentioned we're recording. We'll put this on our YouTube channel. At the end, we'll stop record, we'll unmute everybody's mic. And so if you'd rather ask a question or, say like maybe something was really helpful or maybe something wasn't clear, that way you feel comfortable sharing. So who's excited? We're excited. Okay, Jasmine.
Okay. Laughter therapy is found to be the most beneficial medicine for our seniors, especially for our Alzheimer's and dementia patients. When you share a laugh with a resident, you build a very strong connection, and it releases stress hormones. So if they're having a bad day and you just want to sit down with them and talk about things and show them videos of babies or a laughter video, it releases that stress and increases your immune cells and infection fighting antibodies, and it increases your endorphins. That is our natural chemical. So it just helps the seniors, have a connection, even though they are further on to their journey. So I do want to also talk about how it also enhances the rich oxygen. It stimulates your heart and your lungs and your muscles. And when you're visiting with your loved one, you can sit down and show them the pictures from the past. You can show them something engaging, and they can laugh with you and you can laugh with them. Just try not to tease a little bit, but it helps. It helps. So I do want to try and do that video where we can all stand up and kind of shimmy and shake and laugh.
Good job, Jasmine.
Okay.
Let me get us set up, I think. Okay, oops. Oh gosh. Okay, good.
Okay.
We're gonna get there, Jasmine.
Okay. It's okay. It's okay.
Shake your hands up and down,
Let's
loosen
shake
up,
our hands.
and just say ha 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 ha. So first step is clapping and chanting ho ho ha ha. So we clap ho ho ha 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 ho
Ho,
ho
ho,
ha 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 ho ho ha ha ha. Come on, ho ho ha 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 ho ho ha ha ha. Yay! Let's do it once again. Ho ho ha 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 ho ho ha 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 ho ho ha ha ha. Yay! So the next step is breathing. Laughter is like an exhalation. When you laugh, you get rid of carbon dioxide. And when you take a long deep breath, you get more oxygen. So oxygen is the food for the brain and for the body. So put your hands out like this, everybody. So take a long deep breath in. Inhale. Hold your breath and exhale. Say ah. Now I will ask you to take a long deep breath in and hold it, hold it, hold it. And while exhaling, we laugh it out. Are you ready? Stretch your arms. Take a long deep breath. Hold it, hold it, hold it, and laugh it out. Long deep breath in. Hold it, hold it, hold it. Very good, very good. So this is what our next exercise is. It's called childlike cheers.
Jasmine, I didn't ask you, how far did you want to go?
Oh, no, this is fine.
Okay, perfect.
Yes.
Good.
Yes.
Keep playing this one or no?
No, we're done. Yeah,
Okay,
yeah,
okay,
that's
perfect.
fine.
Okay,
Yes.
perfect. Okay, sorry, Jess. Go ahead.
Yeah, no, you're fine. You're fine. So, yeah, so some ways that you can incorporate, laughter therapy with your loved one is reading jokes. You can tell a funny joke, do a magician trick. I know that has worked plenty of times. And when we find that fake coin, it helps and they're laughing it off. And laughing baby videos. I don't know what it is, but babies and pets, it's the key thing. And they just love it. And when they're further along on their journey, seeing that, it just brings them more closer and you build that connection. So, and it helps with emotional changes as well. Yeah. Thank
That's
you.
awesome. Jasmine, did you want me to play the baby video?
Yes.
Awesome. Okay, good. Okay. Buffering, Jasmine.
And do some breathing exercise. Release some emotional stress
Good. Jasmine.
and then laugh it off. Yes.
Oh, oh goodness, Jasmine. Okay, let me try one more thing. Oh, it's gonna work. Okay.
There we go.
Go ahead, Jasmine.
Yes. So, like videos like that and bringing that connection with your loved one, you can play that, especially, like I said, if they're further along and they're visiting you, further along in their journey and you don't have a way to connect, you can always play a funny baby video of laughter. And yeah, finding out ways to connect emotionally can also help as well. The stress, it can be stressful when they're in their further along journey, but showing that you're laughing and connecting with them on that level, it just makes it great. So yeah.
Beautiful, Jasmine.
Yes.
Oh, so good.
Thank
Jasmine,
you.
I'm gonna ask asked to follow up and we didn't plan this. Like we kind of planned a few things and then we're just having a conversation. Jasmine, say a little bit about not teasing your person.
Not teasing. It means, so if they're having a stressful day and you see that it's stressful, don't mention or laugh at the stress. So let's tend to showing that you're teasing. Let's pull back and bring in something humorous, something light, like the baby video or a pet video or something that you can disconnect from that stress level so they can bring it back.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
Excellent. Good,
Yes.
Jasmine. Beautiful. I'm sure nobody can tell. Jasmine was super nervous. You did such a good job, Jasmine.
Thank you.
Hey, Quintin.
All right. Horticulture engagement. We absolutely love this at the Denton community. We have had
Quintin,
so
I
much
can't
fun.
hear you. Can you hear Quintin? Oh, there we go. Good. Okay, go ahead.
Okay.
You're good.
Good. Horticulture engagement has been so fun at our community. I have had so much fun implementing it and seeing how the residents react to it and the families. We've had so many surprises along the way. So we've could not begin to tell you the positive reaction we've got from it. Just jumping into it, we've had so many great moments for engagement, socialization, big time outside socialization for us. And as a sensory experience, it's something that is free from failure and that everybody can get involved with. This is not just for people who are residents who are able to get their hands down and dirty and garden, but for us to use this as a sensory experience with the water, with the temperature, the tactileness of everything that goes and is involved with planting and gardening, and just visually stimulating all of the beautiful colors, all of the wonderful smells of outside, and getting back to see things grow, see life happen. Also for our residents who are looking for a purpose, this provides a great opportunity to have a purpose. One of our courtyards is unlocked because it is surrounded by the building. It's enclosed and it's free mobility in and out. For those residents, I encourage them at any time to go out there and get some of the tools, make a ritual out of it. We use a lot of our hats, our sunglasses. We'll get more into that in a second. But we also love making use of the courtyards, and I encourage other communities to as well. But if you don't have a courtyard, there's also ways that you can make use of indoor gardening, so long as it's appropriate and safe for a memory care neighborhood. So encourage that as well. At times during the day when it's high stimulation, there's a lot going on in the community. For some residents, it might be wonderful to go outside and experience this more relaxed environment and just to get some fresh air. Going through that doorway can make all the difference, even just to go out there. So yeah, let's move on to the next one. I'm ready.
If you're ready, we're ready.
I'm ready. And this picture here, I absolutely adore. This is from our community, and this was around the day we had first gotten our planter boxes, and so it has a really special moment for me because I felt like you could just see for some of the residents who especially had maybe an occupational history with horticulture just blossomed. Oh, I can work again. I'm ready to work. So it was wonderful. Yeah. I really appreciate that. Like I said earlier, we make a ritual on it. If we're going to go outside and use our courtyards and provide the horticulture engagement, we make sure we bring our hats so that we don't experience any kind of burn or, the sun's bright in my eyes. Our sunglasses, get our sunscreen. We also do, we'll play some music outside. We'll bring some of our other engagement equipment outside with us, so everybody has an option going on that they're interested in. We will bring a special hydration drink. We're beating that Texas heat, so we've got to have some adequate hydration with us. And then we also plan to harvest. We have one in particular that has vegetables in it, and though they might be a little torched right now because it's hot, we will still obtain those vegetables and what we can to make use of that, because that could be a whole separate field of activities in itself. With the tomatoes, even squeezing them, cutting them up, using them in some kind of a way to make a snack out of it, which is wonderful. Can't wait to do. And that's another thing I was gonna also go to was snacks. The snacks are another opportunity with the gardening experience, and make sure that we're like sprinkling them in there with it. So it's not just focused on the gardening. We also have the opportunity to get over to the snacks as well. That way it's like, a whole boatload of experience. Last but not least, I wanted to also just make a note to feel empowered as families to get involved with the gardening experience. Get out there. I encourage all of my families to get involved with it and make use of it. Do anything you can with it. I now have surprise pumpkins in another one of my courtyards. Not even in the raised planter box, just in the courtyard. But you know what? I am so happy about it because it just shows me that they're sharing moments of their life that they find special with us. And as a community, we will blossom from it. We will grow, we will water them, and we will harvest if they come time. We'll just have to wait and see.
Quintin, tell us a little bit about, do you ever have any residents who maybe take some coaxing to go outside to garden? Do you have like some secret tips you use to get them interested?
So I have had some pushback on some people who try, I don't know, maybe they have a set idea of who should be doing gardening or something like that. And I will encourage them, you know, maybe you're not going to come out and garden with us, but let's go out and just come look at it, come appreciate. Let some of our residents share with you the creations that they have made. And I have surprisingly seen some that once you get them involved and you present it in a different manner, or you use different verbiage when talking about like a gardening club or different things like that, they end up loving it. They tend to, and they get very proud of it. So I think that just depending on how you're approaching the resident and what verbiage you're using, and just encourage everybody just to try it. Let's just try. If you don't like it, we can go back in.
That's awesome, Quintin. I know for me, I feel just better when I have my hands in the dirt, and when I have like dirt under my nails, I just feel grounded and connected to something bigger.
Yeah.
Beautiful, Quintin. Okay. So it's my turn, the validation method. And for our families and families of choice and participants today, you may have been in a workshop or another webinar in which I've talked about this. I love the validation method so much. And so let's talk through a few different, like a little bit about it and how you do it, and then how it might apply for you, especially as you're visiting with your person. And at least for me, some of the context in us putting this together today was, I think about families I've known over the years that they kind of like, as their person continues in their journey, sometimes the same tools or the same visits or the same rituals don't work as well as they used to. And sometimes I think families maybe feel a little bit stuck, or maybe a little bit sad, or like, we used to do this together and now she can't do that. And so now what can I do? Or we used to do this together and now she really seems to perseverate, or she, doesn't think she lives here. And so we want to talk through, a way that validation can be really helpful. So validation is a specific method. It's not simply like the word to validate. And you see, I love this photo here. It's Naomi File. She's the creator. She's like in her 90s now and just amazing. She has grew up in a skilled nursing community after her and her family fled Europe during the war. And so she grew up with her best friends being residents. And so she just has such a great perspective. And her method is a way to connect with your person, especially if they are upset, or like the wording here is sundowning. And I'll say just a sentence about that in case you're not familiar. But if you think of just a time when your person is just kind of amplified, like kind of bothered by something. Sundowning is super common in the dementia and cognitive impairment journey. Not everybody experiences, but it's kind of like when the day turns over, so in the winter, it's when it gets dark. In the summer, it's kind of when your person would have left to go work at the plant at night, or come home from school, or from teaching, or come home from work, or get the kids. Like, it's kind of when the day turns over. And so often there can be kind of these amplified emotions that time of day. So Naomi File, I think she's incredible. I think this is a really powerful tool to be able to connect with your person in a way that is grounding and rooted in curiosity and empathy, rather than in a bunch of rules. And so the 5 steps are how I describe it. Naomi would describe it differently, but this, for our purposes, is how I talk about it. So maybe your person is amplified. They're upset about something. Maybe you're about to leave. You've had a lovely visit. And now you're like, hey, mom, I'm going to go home. And they're like, I'm going with you. And maybe they get amplified. So the first thing you do is you don't try to solve it. You first mirror their emotions and their language. If anybody ever saw that awesome animated short video about Brene Brown and empathy versus whatever, empathy versus sympathy, um, this is applicable here. So the idea that we don't want to first say like, hey, mom, you live here now, or mom, I told you I gotta go, or mom, we spent all day together. Don't try to solve it, but first just react to that emotion. I don't know about any of you. I am certain Jasmine and Quintin and I have had a day in which we've just been kind of frustrated. You just want to get it out and be irritated about it. And if ever you have a person who's like, but don't worry about it, it's fine. Pipe down. Like you feel like you're not fulfilled. You haven't gotten it out of your system. So resist the urge to solve and just first be in it with them. If they're upset, you say, oh, that is frustrating. Or, oh my gosh, that must have been so scary. Like just respond to them. And even if your person is further in their journey and maybe not as verbally capable, you may find that they look irritated, but they're not verbally communicating that to you. And maybe you just say like, ah, Uncle, you look irritated. I'm frustrated. Are you frustrated? And you just acknowledge that emotion. Number 2, respond with empathy, cultivating connection. And really throughout the validation method, at least as I understand it, as I breathe it and teach it, it's all about keeping that connection with your person, not trying to solve, not trying to fix, not trying to pull them away from the exit door, but just to maintain and strengthen that connection between you both. Number 3 is ask simple questions or offer prompts to help them continue their story. So maybe you've been visiting. In my example before, hey, mom, I'm going to go. We had such a nice day together. We did the garden thing. I'm going to go now. I need to get the kids. Excuse me. And then maybe your mom is like amplified, like, I'm going. Like, you got to go. I got to go. We're going together. And if you start to ask questions, you say, well, mom, I'm headed home. And they go, I'm headed home. Instead of saying no or try to solve, instead ask a question. Tell me about home. You got to go home. Well, the kids need me. Oh my gosh, the kids, tell me about them. The point is you're leaning in with your person to their story and their feeling. I remember Rita is here on this call and she's from one of our communities in Connecticut. And I still remember sitting with this resident and she was pretty irritated about something. It was kind of late afternoon and she was like, I gotta get out of here. The people are waiting for me. And I didn't know her story and I didn't know where she was headed. And so I just asked these curious questions. And eventually she shared a little bit more and a little bit more. And they were just all in little snippets, like not a lot. But I got a sense of what she was emotionally seeking. So in her case, she was sort of weaving in and out of when she grew up and they had a flat in New York and it was her whole family. It would sort of move between that story to when she had a young family. But what I heard in that is this need of being needed, people needing her. She needed to take care of others. And so if I just said like, oh, don't worry about it, you live here, it's sort of like that need doesn't go away, that desire, that emotion doesn't go away. But instead we talked through. And so I said, tell me about the flat. Was it big? And she said, oh no, it was so small. It was in New York. I said, now many windows. And she said, yeah, you know, and we had this balcony and there was a stoop. There was a stoop in the front. We used to sit there. And so like just slowly I'm asking simple, short questions just to get her to share more. And in that, when we get to number 5, often in drawing your person in and leaning into their story, you will often find they will sort of like talk themselves out of the big emotion they were feeling originally. So maybe your person is like, I gotta get out of here, or I'm going with you, or I don't like it, or whatever. You lean into that story and you find it sort of naturally goes its own route. And so in this case, for the resident in Rita's community, she talked about the flat and how much she loved it and how busy and fun New York was and how what it was like to raise a family there. And so we had pivoted from this, like, I'm needed, they're waiting for me, they're in need, to this warm memory of what it was like to live there. And what I want to stress for everybody is your willingness to go slow and be curious will strengthen the connection with your person. And you might hear some stuff. Maybe you feel like you've heard all the stories. You know about that summer in Cleveland when he worked on the liquor distributor truck. You know all about that. There's not going to be a single thing he says that you haven't heard. But if you lean in and ask these little curious questions, sometimes you learn something you didn't know before. And sometimes it's something that maybe was not factual in reality, but it strengthens that connection together. So with validation, you as a family or family of choice, maybe you're visiting your person, maybe they're irritated and they're saying like, well, they steal my things here. Instead of just trying to solve it, like have empathy and say, that is frustrating. What sort of things are you missing? I remember a community, excuse me, where I worked maybe 8 or 10 years ago. And this is off the cuff, Jasmine. I think this is a delightful story, but maybe you stop me if I need to. So this lady who lived in my community, and she was so she had just moved in, and she was like, you know what, that other place, they had a lot of laundry issues. I said, tell me about that. She said, well, I was missing stuff. I said, what sort of stuff were you missing? She listed off some things. And then she said, but this morning I got some new stuff. I said, you got some new stuff. What sort of stuff arrived in your laundry? She said, a black brassiere. And I said, what did you think of that? And she said, I liked it very much. And so we had pivoted from this like irritation, my things are missing, I am unhappy, into this curiosity and kind of this delightful blossom of a story. So this is where we stopped our planning. So I'm just going to open up Quintin, Jasmine. We have our few interventions that we have here. Does anybody want to share something about mindfulness and meditation? And Jasmine, you already gave us a little bit of clues in the laughter therapy and the breathing, but Jasmine or Quintin, anything you want to share?
Yeah, so with meditation, we have a serenity room here at our community. And we also have an air diffuser where we can drop in lavender, peppermint, and we just sit in there, take it in, breathe it out. Take it in and breathe it back out. And it helps a lot under a lot of stressful situations too. So I feel like the meditation with the diffuser and lavender, it tends to calm. It just brings calm and serene. So that's very helpful. That's a good
Good.
intervention for us. Yeah.
Good, Jasmine.
Yes.
So families on the line, the picture the picture you see is from Shelley, our Director of Memory Care in Olathe, Shelley Sawara. And she did this awesome. We do a lot of internal training videos that we create in Anthology for our team members. And so Shelley did one for us on mindfulness and meditation, and it was so good. And maybe she can do a session like in this group sometime. But she talked about like box breathing. If anybody's ever done that, that's really good for us as care partners as well as for a person. She talked about this 5-4-3-2-1 practice that can really help to ground someone. And I envision as she talks through, it's almost like your person is real amplified, and you ask them to say 5 things they see in the room, and then 4 things they hear, and then 3 things on, and it just slowly like helps them to ground and focus. And super simple. And all of this stuff that we're sharing is stuff you can do with your person. Maybe you're having a nice visit and you're like, hey, uncle, let's take a deep breath. Like, it's good for us, it's good for our person.
Mhm.
Good, Jasmine. Montessori method. Do either of you want to share it? If not, that's okay. Okay, I'll dive in. The Montessori method, and this is my explanation. It's I'm sure many people on the call today, maybe some of you haven't heard of it, and you're like, Montessori, isn't that a preschool? It is the same organization, but there's this method for individuals who are aging, and particularly individuals with dementia. And how I would phrase it is all about kind of practical, normal living stuff. So the 2 images you see are kind of 2 baking images. And I think often, especially in the dementia journey, often we're so quick to say no, right? No, Jasmine, you can't do that. No, Quintin, you can't hold that thing, or, I'll take care of you, that sort of language. But Montessori, at least how I would describe it, is like invites our person to participate and do and contribute and have purpose. And so maybe our person, maybe they can't bake a cake like they used to, but maybe they really enjoy the stirring or sorting out the whisk and this thing. Maybe Jasmine's stirring and the person is like, no, you gotta put it on your hip. It's gotta go here, So this idea that we give opportunities for our person to still engage in just the plain old stuff of life. Some of our residents in our communities like take joy in sweeping. And do they do all the sweeping and is it perfect? No. But do they feel this sense of like responsibility? Yeah, that's awesome. My dear beloved cousin, her person does not live at one of our communities, but they deliver mail. And so that's like a real meaningful thing for her and her mom, that her mom feels like she's doing something important. So Montessori is all about the simple, regular life stuff. And Montessori, the lady, I forget her name, Marie, maybe. She says, "What you do for me, you take away from me." So this idea is like have your person still do stuff however they're able. Pet therapy. I know you both have stuff you want to say.
Yes, pet therapy. It is very therapeutic. Here at my community, we had the privilege to have baby goats, and they enjoyed every last minute of it. They were feeding it like it was, a real baby. Had baby bottles, petting it. They were even engaged, asking the organization, like, how old are they, or when were they born? Were they born on a farm? Because some of my residents were born on a farm, and they were helpful. The Welcome back, Quintin. The
Thank you.
pet therapy is just very useful. We also have a dog that comes in our engagement, director of engagement, Allie, her dog, they enjoy him as well. They'll take him out to our courtyard, even try to pick up the mess, but we try to stop that. But yes. And then Jasmine Tyus, my director of health and wellness, she has a dog as well, King, and he runs around the unit as well, and they just enjoy it. It lights them up. They're very helpful, want to feed them, make sure it's water in that bowl, and we help them do that as well. So it just gives them a sense of, purpose. So yeah, pet therapy is great. So
Quintin,
yeah.
go right ahead. I apologize, Quintin. We might have lost you before. I'm sorry.
Yes, I got lost for a quick moment. I apologize.
But you
adding
found
on
us.
to there, yes, found you back. Had to move locations for better connection, I guess. With pet therapy, we used to have a dog who lived in memory care with one of our residents in our Virtue community. Her name is Candy. She now lives with our director of health and wellness, but every time Candy comes by for a visit, she runs straight to apartment 330 and we just get in there, and she's so cute. We love her so much. It's nice to have animals like that that can come in. So that's always beautiful for the residents.
Awesome, Quintin. Quentin brings up a good point, and some of you might be thinking like, well, I got an animal. I got my cockatoo or whatever animal you have. If you want to bring your dear beloved soulmate in, you are welcome. We just want to follow a few steps, and so want to make sure that vaccines are up to date. And so if you have any questions, if you haven't done that before, just ask your director at your community, and they'll walk you through what we need in order to have a visit. And then we can also do formal stuff like the baby goats, which was adorable. I was there when
Yes,
they.
it was a hit. It was a hit.
Super cute. Music. Who wants to share something? Quintin, I think you wanted to.
When it comes to music, I encourage it with a few little add-ons in there as well. I like we have the IN2L at our communities, and we make great use of them. They have some wonderful music programming on them. But I encourage everybody to, when we do it, maybe get out some of the instruments we have around. Maybe even if it's just an exercise ball that we're beating with some drumsticks, to get involved. That way it doesn't become just, oh, music's playing. Because we use music throughout the entire day. If we're doing something that maybe it's kind of quiet in the community, or we're going to reminisce about something for a particular time period, we'll use music for that as well. So just so it doesn't become repetitive, and it's engagement, and it's got some other sensory to it, and you feel involved with it. We use our triangles, tambourines, small drums, little tiny personal drums, and they become super fun. So it'll become very loud, very quick, and overstimulating, but it's also great. I love to see everybody jump in with it.
Awesome.
Yeah. Yeah, and also when you are overstimulated, on our IN2L as well, we have white noise, we have like a sense of calm music that begins to play, and we'll dim the lights to kind of let's regroup and also take those deep breaths. So music therapy is great.
Yes, good, Jasmine, Quentin. For the families and families of choice on the line, you might notice, sometimes like if we get things going kind of too much, you might find your person is irritated. At the community where I am in today, I saw that just this morning, where things were kind of going fine, and then it got just a little bit louder, and one of the residents was like, so be watching for that in your person. You may find that if the music is going on, like we have right now, an entertainer is performing, maybe your person's like just a little bit too much in it. Maybe they would benefit from being out a bit, or in the wings, or a space where they can ambulate and get up and move. So music can be such an incredible tool of connection. We included a couple excerpts here, and if anybody hasn't seen, we have on our website on anthology.com or anthologyseniorliving.com. There's a page of resources, and it includes some of these clips we're showing, and includes some books and pamphlets and stuff for kids, other stuff. But both this excerpt from Mr. Henry from Alive Inside is on there, and then a reference to the Memory Bridge, Love is Listening. Both of these show the power of music in different ways. If you haven't watched the video of Mr. Henry, it is so good. I think in many ways, we look at Mr. Henry as he first appears in the video, and he seems to be, his eyes are closed and he looks removed. And then they put on his favorite music, and he just sort of like, you see how big his eyes are in the video. Like he just comes alive and says this beautiful stuff about love and life. And it's just kind of an activator for him. And then there's like totally the opposite energy on that excerpt from the Memory Bridge Love is Listening, where the individual in the clip is kind of mellow and removed, and she just lightly hits the drum and you can see he's feeling the vibrations, and it's so mellow and small and just comforting. Reminiscence. Quintin or Jasmine, anything you want to share?
We have so many residents who have had colorful lives and have
You go ahead.
interesting backgrounds. Oh, can you hear me okay?
Good. You're good. Yeah.
Okay, great. I would say we have so many residents who've just had colorful backgrounds and interesting lives and have brought a lot of that and a lot of those little trinkets and things with them that we love to go into the apartments and use as reminiscence. Tell me about this item. Tell me what makes this special to you. So beautiful. We had a woman who previously, she was an interior decorator, and she had a big loom, and she has moved from our assisted living side to our memory care side, and she loves to show you things that she has knitted and about all the effort, the time that's gone into it. And then it also prompts us to bring up certain memories from her past that she impresses me with all the time, how far back she can call into some of these memories and how detailed they are. And it helps me too, as a memory care director, providing care for them, and as family members as well, providing care for them, to see what truly still sticks with them and that is important to them, what they cherish, what they're really holding on to with them through their journey.
Good. Jasmine, you wanted to share something.
Yeah, I was just going to say that, when we always get new residents or new prospects, we always get a life story. So with that life story and me going out to assess those residents and prospects, I engage highly with them and ask them about their past life. I have fallen and seen a lot of nurses. So when they'll see me and I have my stethoscope, well, they'll take my stethoscope and want to, listen to my heartbeat. So them reflecting in their past life of being a nurse, and sometimes they remember their stuff and they'll help me out with questions I need to help my day to day. So just giving them that reflection and making sure they have a job to do, and it just helps because when they reminisce that, it just brings them back and they have a sense of purpose. So yes.
Beautiful, beautiful, Jasmine. For any of the families or families of choice on the line, if you don't remember completing a life story for your person, definitely snag whomever you talk to at the community and ask them for one. We have a short version. It's just simple questions, but they're all really deep questions. It's things like, Jasmine, when you think of home, where do you think of? Or Quintin, what is something you're proud of? Like they're just these deep questions, and you don't have to do all of them. But if you're like, wonder if we did that, just ask your director at the community for one of the forms, and we'd love to know more. Sensory interventions. Quintin, I think you have some ideas here.
Yes. With the sensory interventions, I love to focus on, there's two that are like kind of my favorite to play around with. One being the olfactory, so with smells and things like that in the community. And then also, I think with the reminiscence in the sensory, you can bring back so many trigger emotions and memories with these smells. And also provide it's a relaxation method. When we do like our spa time, we're going to do some nails, we'll also put on an infuser. Or when we do our baking engagement, we provide that smell throughout the community of the fresh baked goods. And for some that they're, I baked my whole life, and this is such a great intervention. Another one is the tactile sensory interventions, things that you can hold hold, grasp, really feel, or if you're maybe further along with your memory loss journey, these can be things that are more malleable, that are more manipulative. And it's great to see them not only use them as a sensory intervention to use like their palms to get a feel of it and what's going on with it, but also to maybe manipulate it into shapes or express how they're feeling with it, depending on where they're at, which is great for sensory intervention. I love the tactile ones too, because I'll get involved as well. I'm like, let me see that. Let's get involved. Let me see what I can do.
Maybe you all are visiting your person and you think, you know what, I'm gonna bring, I know Uncle always really liked the smell of rose water. I'm gonna bring that rose water lotion. I'm gonna massage his hands while we sit together. Or I'm gonna ask Quintin if he has like a little thing where I can soak my mom's hands and just make sure she feels nice and soft and pat them dry. Like definitely feel empowered to do those things and to ask those things of your team and our team. And then I think this is our last one, if I remember correctly. Um, who wants to share?
Yes, art is like the number one activity that our community loves. It tends to open up a journey for them. It releases their stress, especially they're having a bad day, they'll just color and color. Sometimes they'll even draw the picture of what they're going through. And that kind of helps me, yeah, that kind of helps me realize, oh my goodness, so you're going through this. So let's talk about it. And it brings them all together. It showcases them and makes them feel important. Um, we have a lot of art classes throughout the week, and we showcase them. And we're also doing like pottery classes too, because they love to garden, and then they'll paint their pottery. It just gives them a sense of visual purpose, and they enjoy it. So yeah, that's all I got.
That's
I have
awesome.
I have
Yeah, go
not had
ahead.
the chance to do the pottery. That sounds wonderful. I don't know why it's never occurred to me. We need to paint some pottery around here. That's great. We just had a vendor come in and do a little bit of art modeling. She would draw a very beautiful image. She did a bird out on watercolor paper, and then we all got involved. And everybody, it's something that's totally fun. You know, it can be messy. There's beautiful colors involved. It's safe. It's appropriate. We really appreciated that with the modeling for the painting, and in our community in general, we have a lot of really talented artists. And sometimes I know that I guess especially for newer residents, it could be intimidating because it's a little bit vulnerable when you're sitting there. You know, the person next to me has just created what looks like $1 million masterpiece, and I don't feel like I can do that. But we encourage everybody to get involved. Make masterpiece. Even if it's not going to be their masterpiece, yours can be just as beautiful. Express yourself through the colors. Express how you're feeling, temperature-wise, emotion-wise, all of it. I love it. And like you said, Jasmine, it is a great way to reflect and see where the resident is at. It's very fun.
Nice. I want to emphasize for everybody what Quintin said around, you know, sometimes I'm sure some of you, I know I always feel super insecure when I'm doing an art project with at a community or with residents. Um, and maybe your person's like, I don't know what to do, or I can't do that, or theirs was so nice. And so you might be prepared just to break it down, or like Quintin said, to have a model, like have a thing to practice off of. The images here are from Annette at our Blue Ash community. She's this amazing artist. And you see, she'll do this is all from a theme around fish, but you see, everybody's fish is so different. And so maybe some people just focus on the color and not on the quote unquote drawing the fish. Other people like they paint beautiful fish. Other people they want to do something else. So just being comfortable and willing and able to have it be failure free for your person. Awesome. So I think, oh yeah, so this is our closing. Really a foundation for us at Anthology, for memory care in particular, is recognizing our residents' ability, agency, and purpose. And for us, what that means is not focusing on the can'ts, focusing on what our person can do. Agency is our person's ability to choose and be a whole being that is engaged and is contributing in the world. And then purpose is stuff that is meaningful, and being a part of the community. Like in the past, anybody who wants the slides, just let me know. I'll send them out, but there's some additional resources for you. I see one chat I missed before, Quintin, when you were talking about therapeutic or horticulture practice. Rita said that they grow and harvest strawberries. I love that. That's awesome. So let me stop presenting. Before I end record, I just want to thank Jasmine and Quintin. Like, thank you so much for sharing. It's super, super powerful.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
Jasmine and Quintin, anything you want to say before we stop record to sort of close out? And families, I'm going to unmute you in just a sec, or feel free to put in the chat. But Jasmine, anything you want to share?
Yes, I enjoyed this a lot. And I will hope that laughter therapy helps, because I laugh all the time. So it helps me. Yes, so I did enjoy this. Thank you.
Quintin,
Me as
how about
well.
you?
I enjoyed this so much and feel blessed to be able to communicate and connect with all of you guys. And can't wait to hear about all the growth and development when it comes to your horticulture's experiences and see what you guys come up with.
Okay, everybody, let me hit stop record and then